Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. The great American physicist Richard Feynman said, "Science is the belief in the ignorance of the experts." In 2009, National Geographic predicted that Glacier National Park would be ice-free by the year 2020. This is a Google Earth satellite photo of the Grinnell Glacier in Glacier National Park taken last year. It's pretty clear that Glacier National Park is not ice-free. Now let's compare that to Google Earth imagery from 1994. The Google Earth imagery from 1994 isn't as high quality, but you can see that the edges of the glacier are essentially identical to 2020. The glacier didn't shrink over the last 25 years and may actually have grown. When National Geographic wrote this article in 2009, they had no clue what they were talking about and were simply trying to scare people. Now let's go back almost 100 years to 1923. In 1923, as reported by the Associated Press, experts predicted that Glacier National Park would be ice-free in 25 years. That would have been 1948. Here's an article from 1924. Glacier Park soon will lose its ice piles. Glaciers in Glacier National Park are melting away at the rate of from 15 to 30 feet each year, and within a few years will have disappeared entirely, said Dr. M.J. Elrod of the University of Montana, addressing science teachers in session yesterday. And here's one from 1936. Dr. Mathis of the United States Geologic Survey estimates that at the present rate of regression, the glaciers in Glacier National Park will vanish within 25 years. So in 1936, the USGS predicted that Glacier National Park would be ice-free by 1961, which was 60 years ago. Then in 1952, experts predicted that Glacier National Park would be ice-free within 50 years, which would have been the year 2002. And in 2014, the New York Times predicted that Glacier National Park would be ice-free within 30 years, which would be the year 2044. In 1924, experts predicted the park would be ice-free in a few years, and now the New York Times is predicting 2044, which is 120 years later. Let's see what NASA has to say. They say Glacier National Park will be ice-free by the year 2030. That prediction is based on modeling looking at what's occurred in the park since the 1990s. But as we've already seen from the Google Earth imagery, the glaciers haven't changed since the 1990s. In other words, these experts have no clue what they're talking about. They know that they can get their name in the newspaper and get research grants by making alarmist predictions. But what they're doing has nothing to do with science, and it has nothing to do with reality. I'm going to finish this up with some different glaciers, those in Greenland. Normally, Greenland's surface melts very rapidly during June and July. In fact, those are the only months when Greenland's surface normally loses mass. But this summer there's been huge amounts of snow falling on Greenland. In one day they received 12 billion tons of snow. And as a result, Greenland's surface is actually gaining mass during July. That's pretty remarkable. And the surface mass balance is currently right at the 1981 to 2010 mean. Greenland's surface has gained 550 billion tons of snow since the beginning of September last year. That's the difference between how much new snow has fallen and how much has melted off the surface. Greenland's surface mass balance has been above average for the past 5 years. In 2017 and 2018 it was very high, 2019 was low, and 2020 and 2021 were just about average. If the current weather patterns continue, 2021 may end up being very high. Greenland is not melting down, but facts don't make any difference to National Geographic. They say Greenland is melting down and it may affect everyone's future. NASA scientists are trying to understand how this region is responding to climate change and how that will influence sea levels around the world. And in 1939, experts said that Greenland was rapidly melting and that the glaciers of Greenland and Norway faced the possibility of a catastrophic collapse. Suppose that climate scientists said everything's fine and we're seeing the same weather patterns we've always seen. Government isn't going to pay them to say nothing's wrong. Their job and their income depends on spreading alarm. Over a century ago, H.L. Mencken said, The whole aim of practical politics is to keep the populace alarmed and hence clamorous to be led to safety by an endless series of hobgoblins, most of them imaginary. These experts who make alarmist predictions are the contractors who enable this sort of behavior by government. In other words, these experts are being paid to scare people. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on this bad behavior for the past 13 years. You can visit him, Kyrie, and Caesar on the web at realclimatescience.com.